Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton News Daily. Sean Dyche has given his pre-match press conference ahead of Everton's visit to Manchester United at 12:30 on Saturday. The Blues boss was in decent form after Everton's unbeaten run extended to 4 games. He was a little bit cagey with some of his answers, I'll be honest. We didn't learn a ton from the manager today. But he was asked early on about Ellis Simms and what he needs to do to get more game time on the pitch. This is what the manager had to say about Ellis Simms.
Yeah, he's going to continue working at his game, continue learning about the game, which he is doing. We've shown him clips, we've spoken to him. He shared a view on what he thought. I mentioned that the other week, and I agree with him. So, it's a continued work in progress. But learning about the Premier League, it can take time sometimes. So, when he gets his time on the pitch, that's important to him and important to us. But making sense of it and learning, I think, is the biggest thing for me as a young centre forward, or young in the Premier League, that is. Learning to earn his spurs and how the Premier League works.
What the coaching staff are saying and continues his development. I thought he did quite well when he came on against Spurs the other night, and obviously was on the pitch when Michael Keane scored his tremendous late equaliser. Asked about the injury team news and injury updates. He'd already been asked about Dominic Calvert-Lewin or not asked about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The journalist said, "I won't ask you about Dominic Calvert-Lewin's availability because I assume he's injured." I don't know whether he'd been asked to say that. I'm not sure. But this is what the manager had to say regarding other team news ahead of the game at the weekend.
Yeah, pretty good. Ruben missed out with a tight Achilles, but he's back on the grass training. Dom continues his recovery, obviously. Andros a bit more distantly. So pretty good overall. And some players just carried a few knocks and bruises, but nothing too serious.
Well, I wasn't expecting anything more positive about Andros Townsend, but I also wasn't expecting him to have not featured at any time this season, given that there was a conversation he may well have been back after the World Cup. It doesn't look like we're going to see Townsend again in an Everton shirt, and he could have been useful in this run-in, but the manager didn't seem like he was any closer to playing, did he? Inevitably, it moved on to Abdoulaye Doucoure. He'll be a big miss for Everton, in my opinion. The manager was asked about the incident and how much he was going to miss him in this Everton side.
No, he certainly doesn't need to apologise. At the end of the day, he knows, you can't raise your hands. I mean, I thought at one point he might have snapped his eyelash, that would have been tragic. But he seemed to be responding okay. He knows you can't raise your hands in football. It's simple as that. But he's a very strong-minded character, and I like that. He's worked very, very hard. So, at a moment when it goes wrong, he's not going to be judged by that on me.
There you go. Yeah, I think we're going to miss Doucoure, but like the manager said, who knows? We'll know after the 3 games how much we've missed them, if we have at all. I mentioned Michael Keane's tremendous late strike before that got us a point. The manager was asked about Michael Keane, how he's been developing, and his partnership with James Tarkowski. This is what Sean Dyche had to say on Michael Keane.
Well, they weren't quite as good as me, obviously, but the idea being that just the connection between them, it was a long-standing one. I didn't change it for that reason. I just felt that the change was relevant at that time. Keano's enjoying his football, he's enjoying his training. I spoke to him when he got there, I didn't think he was fit enough and sharp enough. He's worked hard at that. And he's shown good signs of that. He's not the only player here. There's a lot of players who are working very, very hard at their game. And that's what we want. We want players to be at it all of the time. Every day in training, every time the whistle blows. We want a connected group who give their lot, and I think we're growing with that.
There you go. Finance expert Kieran Maguire has called into question the number of auditors Everton have had over recent years. He was speaking on the Price of Football podcast. This is what Kieran Maguire had to say. Obviously, Everton's accounts were out last week, and he's been asked about it. This is what he had to say. I'm a chartered accountant, and auditing and accounting, I'm not denying, is pretty humdrum work, routine stuff. Firms of accountants, if they're unhappy with accounts, they will ask the client to change them. And if the client refuses, you've got one or two choices. You can say, in our opinion, accounts are a fabrication, and no accountant wants to particularly go down that route, or you can just resign. Do companies change their auditors? Yes, they do. But do they do it on a regular basis? No, it doesn't happen. The only other club that has changed auditors more than Everton over the last few years is West Bromwich Albion, and we're fully aware of the car crash that's existed there. He did say, I'm going to sound quite mean here, but Everton are now on their third firm of auditors in 4 years. It is worrying, I think, a lot of the noise around Everton. And obviously, like we've said before, we've got the Premier League referral, and we've also got the books that came on the accounts that came out last week, which weren't great. And a lot of people are making things, making an issue of what's going on at Everton. And I think we need to somehow turn this around. We need to improve what we're doing financially. We need to improve what we're doing on the pitch as well, because at the moment we're an open goal for so many people, and obviously Kieran Maguire is well versed in football accounting and numbers, figures, and how good football clubs are run. He's a Brighton fan after all, and they are run quite well. The quicker we do this, the better. But Everton do need to make changes in that football club and start to turn this around as soon as possible, because it is very worrying at times at the moment being an Evertonian. And finally, Everton have announced a fixture change. The Everton versus Manchester City game, which was due to be played on Saturday the 13th of May, has now been moved to Sunday the 14th of May with the kick-off at 2 o'clock. That was announced today. That is it for the News Daily. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. It really helps the channel. We massively appreciate it. If you want to become a Toffee TV Premium member, the link is in the description and the QR code is on the screen in about 2 seconds. Thanks for watching. See you later.